Human life is easy prey to a plethora of diseases. For the sick and the ailing, life is a long haul of suffering and misery. The relief for the traumatized comes from the compendiums of knowledge codified into medical systems since time immemorial. Several civilizations across time have come up with different systems of treating diseases. Of these, Ayurveda is a living medical system that is known to have evolved during the Vedic period, in around 4000 BC. It continues to be as relevant today as it was in the past. With a holistic approach to life and health, Ayurveda continues to hold its pride of place.
The word Ayurveda is coined from two Sanskrit words, Ayu, which means life, and Veda means knowledge or science. Thus, Ayurveda is the science of life. It has two distinct aims of maintaining health and curing diseases. These aims are called Swasthavritta and Aturavritta respectively.
Swasthavritta deals with the Dinacharya, that is, the codes and conducts to be followed in day-to-day life. Ritucharya is all about the precautions to be observed in different seasons. Aturavritta deals with the treatment of diseases.
Accordingly, Ayurvedic treatment is categorized into two major divisions, namely Urjaskara Chikitsa, which deals with the promotion of health, and Roganut Chikitsa, which deals with the cure of diseases.
Ayurveda has 8 specialized branches of treatment known as Ashtangas. These are Kaya Chikitsa, Shalya Tantra, Shalakya Tantra, Kaumara Bhritya, Bhuta Vidya, Agata Tantra, Rasayana Tantra, and Vajikarana. Kaya Chikitsa, that is, internal medicine, deals with the diagnosis, prevention, and treatment of systemic diseases like pyrexia, bleeding disorders, skin disease, and the like, which are mainly caused by the disturbance in digestion and metabolism. Shalya Tantra deals with the management of all types of physical injuries, abscesses, ulcers, and foreign bodies. Shalakya Tantra is ophthalmology and otorhinolaryngology. It deals with the management of diseases of neck, head, throat, nose, ears, and eyes. Kaumara Bhritya stands for pediatrics, gynecology, and obstetrics. Bhuta Vidya deals with psychiatric disorders which are believed to be caused by exogenous agents. Agata Tantra is toxicology, which deals with the management of various kinds of poisons and delayed toxicity. Rasayana Tantra is rejuvenation therapy, aimed to promote lifespan, prevent premature aging, and to achieve excellence in intellect, strength, and other desired qualities. Vajikarana is andrology. It deals with the correction of seminal errors and enhancement of sexual potency. Among all these, Kaya Chikitsa, which deals with the diagnosis, prevention and treatment of systemic diseases caused by the disturbance in digestion and metabolism, is the most widely practiced branch. Kaya Chikitsa has three divisions, namely Nidana Parivarjana, Shamana and Shodhana.
Nidana Parivarjana deals with the etiological factors which aggravate the disease and the advice to patients to confine to Pathya and Apathya, which stands for a list of do's and don'ts respectively. Shamana denotes pacifying the dysfunction of the disturbed tissues within the body. Shodhana literally means purification. This treatment cleanses the body of all types of impurities.
Ayurveda believes that Shamana treatment alone does not rule out the possibility of recurrence of the disease, especially in chronic cases. Therefore, a combination of Shamana and Shodhana procedures are to be followed for complete cure. This combination of Shamana and Shodhana is called Panchakarma. According to Ayurveda, there are three basic humours or functional units called doshas in every living organism. These are Vata, Pitta and Kapha. These three doshas are responsible for different physiological and psychological functions in any living being. Vata dosha is the functional unit which controls the body and regulates all types of movements in the body. The major seat of Vata is the Pakwashaya in the region of the large intestine where digested food material is present. From the Pakwashaya, the Vata moves to all parts of the body. The other important sites of action of Vata are the bladder, legs, feet, bones, waist, and all of the sensory organs. Its action is mainly on the sensory organs of hearing and touch. Pitta dosha facilitates the functions of digestion and metabolism in the body. The main seat of action of Pitta is the Nabhi, that is, sites like the smaller intestine, where active digestive processes take place. Pitta controls the appetite, thirst, intelligence, cognitive power, heat, softness, and complexion of the body. The other major sites of action of Pitta are the lower part of the stomach, liver, spleen, blood, lymph, skin, sweat glands, and organs of vision. The Kapha, the third of the doshas, is responsible for uniting the tissues and giving firm structure and nourishment to the body. It has Urasa, that is, the chest and the upper part of the stomach, as its major seat. Its other important sites are the neck, head, and joints.
When these three doshas are in equilibrium, a person will be in a healthy state. When the equilibrium gets disturbed, diseases begin to appear. The disequilibrium is caused by external agents called Nidana, which creates Mala, the impurities in the body. The major causes that create impurities are unhealthy food, environment, dust, smoke, and lack of exercise, just to name a few. Therefore, Ayurveda seeks to cleanse the body of the disease causing impurities rather than treating the symptoms of ailments. and the process of purifying the body by expelling all morbid and toxic matters to restore the harmony of the doshas essential to the healthy state is known as Panchakarma.
Panchakarma is an integral part of Kaya Chikitsa. Literally, Panchakarma means 5 actions. Pancha means 5 and karma is action or therapy. Panchakarma, that is penta biopurification therapy, is a combination of 5 distinct therapeutic procedures. The first one is Vamana, that is emetic therapy. In this process, vomiting is induced by the oral administration of certain drugs to eliminate the impure doshas through the mouth. The second one is Virechana, that is purgative therapy. It is the elimination of impure doshas through the anal route by administering medicines orally. Vasti is the elimination of doshas from the Pakwashaya through therapeutic enema. The fourth procedure in Panchakarma is Nasya, that is Erhine therapy. In this process, the vitiated doshas situated mainly in the regions of head and neck are eliminated through the nasal orifices. The last of the therapeutic procedures in Panchakarma is Rakta Moksha, that is bloodletting. This process employs either surgical instruments or leeches to eliminate the vitiated doshas from the body.
Before performing Panchakarma, it is necessary to prepare the patient biologically to expel the accumulated impurities from the system. This process is called Purva Karma or pre-operative measures. Purva Karma involves 2 procedures, Snehana or oleation therapy and Svedana or sudation therapy. The word Snehana is derived from Sneha, which means oiliness, lubrication and viscidity. Thus, Snehana involves application of oily substances. In Snehana therapy, the oily substances are administered internally as well as externally. The internal administration of oil is known as Abhyantara Snehana and external application is referred to as Bahya Snehana.
When Sneha is derived from plants, it is known as Stavara Sneha. One example is the Taila or the oil derived from sesame. When the oil is derived from animals, it is called Jangama Sneha. Ghrita or ghee obtained from the clarified milk of cow or buffalo is considered to be the best of all Snehana substances. It has the power to effectively assimilate the properties of other substances without losing its own qualities. Apart from ghee, the other commonly used Sneha substances are Taila, that is sesame oil, Vasa, that is muscle fat, and Majja or bone marrow. Usually ghee processed with medicine is used. This has the ability to yield better results in Sneha procedures.
Abhyantara Snehana is mandatory in most cases. It is indicated for persons who excessively indulge in sex, physical and mental exercises and consumption of alcohol. It has to be followed in the case of patients who are underweight, deficient in blood and semen and those who are in a state of constant worry. It is also indicated for the aged and the children. Internal Snehana is mainly performed in Vata disorders. Abhyantara Snehana is contraindicated in the case of patients with excessive kapha and meda, that is fat. Patients suffering from ascites, diarrhea, throat disease and those who are weak, unconscious and intoxicated are not given internal Snehana. It is also contraindicated for pregnant women, abortion and for patients who are currently undergoing Vasti, Nasya and Virechana therapies and those who have a low appetite. Selection of a suitable Sneha is extremely important in Purva Karma. The best suitable Sneha is selected depending upon the nature of disease, the season, physical and mental constitution of the patient, and the predominance of the concerned dosha. In the case of internal snehana, the dose of sneha has to be determined carefully according to the digestive power of the patient. After ensuring that the food taken in the previous day has been digested, the patient is given abhyantara snehana. The commonly accepted method of abhyantara snehana is the oral administration of oils.
The patient has to be prepared for Abhyantara Snehana. A day before the commencement of Snehana therapy, the patient is given limited quantities of warm liquid food which do not produce excess moisture in the body. Patients with irregular appetites have to be given buttermilk or dry food articles to create dryness in the body. This process, known as rukshana, makes the snehana more effective. Rukshana is also recommended in the cases of patients with excessive muscles, excess fat, and kapha. Abhyantara snehana can be administered in any of the three ways, depending on the disease and the body constitution of the patient. The chosen sneha could be administered without mixing with food. Such a method is known as Acha Snehapana and is considered to be the best because of its immediate effect. Some patients may have a natural dislike for Acha Snehapana. In such cases, the sneha can be mixed with other food for easy intake. This method, known as Vicharana Snehapana, is to be followed in the case of patients with Mridu Koshta, that is, low digestive power. It is also preferred in the case of alcoholic patients. In the case of children, the old and the weak, another method called Sadhya Sneha can be followed. Here, the sneha can be laced with palatable food items such as meat soup or gruel, with sesame seed powder or milk, or preparations containing ghee or curd. The sneha has to be administered early in the morning on an empty stomach after the patient has satisfied his natural urges. After the completion of sneha, the patient should be made to consume warm water to help digestion of the sneha. After a few hours rest, the patient can be given a small quantity of gruel if he or she is hungry. The administration of Abhyantara Snehana has to be continued by increasing the dose for a period of 3 to 7 days, depending on the patient's digestive power. If extended beyond 7 days, the sneha will become a diet and will lose its therapeutic value.
During the course of Abhyantara Snehana, patients have to be on a controlled diet. They should abstain from heavy and spicy food, should not sleep during the daytime, should sleep well in the night, should not stop natural urges, and should not indulge in sex. When the Abhyantara Snehana is perfect, certain symptoms can be noticed. These are proper functioning of vata, improvement in digestion, unctuous and loose stool, oiliness and softness of the body, fatigue and aversion towards further sneha. When these symptoms are observed, the snehana is called Samyak Snehana. Dry and hard stool, improper functioning of vata, poor digestion and persisting roughness and dryness of body are the symptoms of Asamyak Sneha or under-oleation. In the case of Atisnehana or over-oleation, the symptoms are the following: heaviness, dullness, anorexia, nausea, unformed stool, pallor, drowsiness, and a passage of undigested sneha material through the body orifices. Samyak Sneha indicates that the impurities present in the body are well soaked with the sneha materials. Now, these impurities have to be expelled from the body by bringing them to the nearest orifice of the appropriate part of the gastrointestinal tract. The procedures involved in bringing them to gastrointestinal tract will be dealt in the next unit of the program. Let us now take a look at what we have discussed so far. We had an overview of the 8 branches of Ayurveda known as Ashtangas. Of these, Kaya Chikitsa deals with the diagnosis, prevention and treatment of systemic diseases. Panchakarma, an essential part of Kaya Chikitsa, has to be preceded by Purva Karma. Purva Karma is the process of preparing the patients biologically to expel the accumulated impurities from the body. Purva Karma involves 2 methods. These are Snehana, that is application of oily substances, and Svedana, that is sudation. In Snehana therapy, the oily substances are administered internally as well as externally. The internal administration of oil is known as Abhyantara Snehana, and external application is referred to as Bahya Snehana. We have discussed the indications and contraindications of the Abhyantara Snehana, and also we have learned about the symptoms of perfect and imperfect Snehana. And before you attend the second unit that deal with Bahya Snehana and Svedana, read the books suggested here and answer the questions. Take care.
The books for reference are Charaka Samhita by Agnivesha, published by Chaukamba Sur Bharati Prakashan, Varanasi. Sushruta Samhita by Sushruta, published by Chaukamba Orientalia, Varanasi, 6th edition. Ashtanga Samgraha by Vriddha Vagbhada, published by the Central Council for Research in Ayurveda and Siddha, New Delhi. Ashtanga Hridaya by Vagbhada, published by the Krishnadas Academy, Varanasi. Answer the following questions. Name and explain the 8 branches of Ayurveda. Explain the important sites of the 3 doshas. Which are the different therapeutic procedures of Panchakarma? What is meant by Purva Karma? Explain its importance. What are the different types of Sneha? Explain their sources. Explain the following: Acha Snehapana, Vicharana Snehapana, and Sadhya Sneha. Explain Pathya and Apathya of Abhyantara Snehapana. Explain the procedure of Abhyantara Snehapana. Explain the symptoms of the following: Samyak Snehana, Asamyak Snehana, and Ati Snehana.